Hello YouTube, Flightsimguy here. Today I'm doing something a little bit different and a little bit special. As you all know, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and while it's relatively easy to find scenery for the major airports throughout North America and the rest of the world, such as JFK, Chicago, Atlanta, LA, not everyone has access to, or especially in FSX, a lot of times you don't have add-on scenery, or payware anyway, for some of the smaller Class C and Class D airports. So on Sim Market, I was able to find payware add-on scenery, and just because it's payware doesn't necessarily mean it's high quality, but I was able to find add-on scenery for Bolton Field and Port Columbus, which are the airports in my city. Here I actually spawned over here, which isn't right. Bolton Field, I've taken a couple flights up in a Cessna 172 a couple of times. This road is right. There should be a fence right here, and some other little details. But it's a lot more than what's with the stock airport. So I went ahead and purchased it. This for Bolton Field is $11. Port Columbus was $16. So what I want to do is go ahead and check it out. I'm in the RealAir Beech Duke, which is destined to become a collector's item or classic, since the development outfit that built this aircraft is no longer in existence. You can't find it. So it's becoming very rare and special. So what I'm going to do is fire this up. I'm going to do a quick aerial tour of Bolton Field. Then I'm going to go over to Port Columbus, check that out, and then come back. In fact, what I should do to make things interesting, I'm going to go ahead and up the traffic. Alright, so I went ahead and turned up the traffic. I have traffic 360 loaded. Not sure if it's going to make a difference for this airport. I don't think it has. Might make a difference over at Port Columbus. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, let's see what we got here. I don't know the name of this restaurant, but there's a restaurant in this building right here. And where this yellow line is, these cones, there should be a fence there. This right here is an apron. The apron where a lot of, in this position right here, a broken down Piper PA-28 is just sitting there, rusting. I've been thinking I should buy it and fix it up. Let's see here now. What's our wind? 227. So I want to take off at runway 22. So we'll come up here. We'll go ahead and do a quick pass over the airport once we take off. So far it looks pretty good. The buildings look kind of generic. One notch above stock. Not a bad price to pay for $11. Alright, let's go ahead and lean the engines a little bit. There we go. Okay, they got these little thingies right here. They look very tall. I'm pretty sure they're not that tall in the real world, but it adds extra ambiance. They got the hangars right. Most of the planes coming out of Bolton Field, they're not sitting outside, they're hangared. Only times you see planes sitting outside is whenever there's a vintage warbird coming through giving a tour. They like to come to these small airports and give rides to people. The video that I have on my page of the B-17, that was from last year. The B-17 came through here, also a Ford trimotor, which is Ford's implementation of the Junkers 55. Alright, taking off into the wind, 5 knots, runway 22. We're just going to go ahead and do a rolling start. My trim should be good. It is. So let's just go ahead and get going. I didn't see any planes coming into land. Let's get her done. Woo! Straighten up. Alright. We'll rotate at about 100 knots. Positive rate, gear up. Obviously, the scenery did not include anything outside of the airport. Usually, once after they make their left base and they make their turn to downwind, that's when they fly right over my house. Let's see here. 22. Going the other way. There we go. Alright. Alright, this should be enough right there. Oh look, hot air balloon. How cool is that? Alright, there's Bolton Field. Let's do a quick survey from above. Alright, so here's Columbus State Community College. There should be a 727 right here. There is a private jet. I want to say it's a Cessna 525. It's been sitting on the apron right here for like the past 10 years. Has not moved. I was going to find out who owns it and make him an offer. Alright, let's make another pass. We can come left. Let's get up a little bit higher. That's the problem with these high wings. I guess I should have done this in a Cessna 172. Alright, here's the boundary, the road that they implemented. This is actually Alkire Road. Here's Norton. And here's the road to the airport. So they did a pretty good job of modeling that. And right here is all open land. Alright, so after we check out Bolton Field, we will also check out Port Columbus. Let's come down further in the seat. And as you can see, it's a relatively simple airport. See, they got the hangars right here. Got the FBO, which is right here. Got the tower right here, and that restaurant I was telling you about. Got the runway, and the land that's around it. My house, if it was actually a model, will be over here somewhere. And they also put in some trees. There's a, you know what? Let's check out the balloon. What I need to do is figure out how to design scenery. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a tool for it. I know that X-Plane comes with its own airport designer tool. Not sure how it's done for FSX. Alright, that's our status here. Going a little bit fast. It's climbing. That's okay. Let's go ahead and check out. Oh, 2 balloons. Where did that second one come from? I've never seen balloons in FSX. They probably implemented that as part of this scenery. I'm pretty sure they did. And it's not entirely inaccurate. Once a year, around late summer, early fall, there's a balloon festival over at, it used to be an expired or an old abandoned racetrack called, I think it's Scioto Downs. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a couple miles over here. And hundreds of people come with their balloons set up, and there's balloons all over the damn place. Alright, let's go ahead and check out Port Columbus. What's our altitude? Alright, we want to keep it around here. Let's get back up higher in the seat. And heading east, that's about right. Port Columbus is about over here-ish. Here's downtown Columbus with all the tall buildings. There's actually more buildings than that. And then Port Columbus is over here. Very easy to see, 2 parallel runways. And then you have OSU Airport over here. Rickenbacker is over here. And then there's Columbus Municipal Airport back over here. Where we take off from was Bolton Field. What's funny is when you come in on the, there's a star that takes you into Port Columbus. Once you come in to go for runways 10 left and 10 right at Port Columbus, takes you through. You make a big loop, and you make a right turn to final, and you can actually see in one position. You can actually see all the major airports around the Columbus area. Okay, what do we got? Alright, we're doing good. Still climbing. Let's go ahead and trim down. Where are the buildings? Here they are, right here. So Port Columbus is right over here. So what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and do a flyby heading runway 10. There's 10 left and 10 right, 28 left and 28 right. What I'll do is go in between the runways and do a flyby over the buildings. Maybe we can see some traffic there. Port Columbus is a Class C airspace. guess we're not big enough for Class B. And Bolton Field is Class D, is in Delta. Here's the Olentangy River. Scioto River, or that's the Scioto River, Olentangy River. I always get that mixed up. And still going up. Alright, let's go ahead and come back off the power. Just come down a little bit, and we'll do a nice low flyby over the airport. Let's come in at about 1,500 feet. Should do it. Alright, now when I bought these installers, they didn't have any keys. They're just executable files. You just go ahead and run them. It still didn't work. All the installer did was copy the files in the right folders. You still have to go into the add scenery in FSX. I'm sorry, P3D, and manually add the scenery. I need to do the same in FSX and in Steam also. Now, Port Columbus was $16. And by the way, this is only on Sim Market. I did not see it on FS Pilot Shop. And I suppose this is an accurate implementation of Port Columbus. Now, it's not called Port Columbus anymore. It's John Glenn International. They renamed the airport in honor of John Glenn, who's from Wapakoneta. A disproportionate number of the astronauts in the early days of the space program are all from Ohio. John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, all them guys, a whole bunch of them are from Ohio. Okay, so we got some cars, some parking lots, NetJets, their buildings over here. Here are your two runways, some more parking lots. This is actually pretty cool. And here you got the bridge. They did a lot of rework and construction for Port Columbus lately, so this was obviously built after that was done. I'm not... Oh yeah, they got... here's the traffic. They got the planes right by the gates. And here's the new tower. Oh, that's actually looks pretty good. And here you got the terminal. Alright, this is pretty good. And they got the two layers. Not too shabby. Oh, that actually does look pretty good. Alright, let's take another pass. This time we'll go from north to south. I should have put down one notch flaps. Did not. Let's go ahead and gain some altitude. Come around. I want to do north to south, so let's do this. There we go. In the future, when I do these kind of flights, I need to remember to use a high wing plane. I mean, a plane with these big old engines and these wings sticking off the side kind of blocks the view. Okay, let's make another turn. And this time I will put down one notch of flaps. And for some reason it didn't make the sound. Damn it. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but whenever you leave your sim for a long time and you don't use them, and then you fire it up, all sorts of weird things happen. In this case, half my sounds for my Beech Duke isn't working. And the first time I fired up P3D for the first time in a few months, my key bindings didn't work, and I did not do anything to them. So weird. Now, I'm pretty sure the folks at FSX Scenery that did these airports, they probably developed them using satellite photos or satellite images from Google Earth, as opposed to driving around with video cameras and taking pictures. Which I suppose is okay. See what it looks like from the outside. Alright, looks pretty cool. Okay, we got one plane coming in. That looks awesome. Look at that. And these gates look relatively empty. Parking lots, just touching down right there. The NetJets offices are right here. excellent job implementing that. And this is 270 right here, which is probably stock FSX. Let's take a look over here. And here's the these roads were probably part of the scenery. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, let's come over this way. Come down to my seat. Yeah. These roads is part of the airport scenery. This was recently developed within the last 10 years. And here is 670. And they have some other buildings over here, some hangars and whatnot. This is actually a pretty good job. This is definitely worth the 16 bucks. Don't see any ground traffic or whatnot, but you know, it looks good. It's definitely worth it. Cool. So now my my hometown airports have a little bit more character. All right. Let's go ahead and raise the flaps. Give it some gas and go back home. All right. What's my heading? I am going east. I need to be going south. Let's go ahead and bank right. Now, obviously, nobody is going to pay that 11 bucks and the 16 bucks for these two add-ons, except for people who probably live in this area and are big fans of P3D and FSX, of which I am, which is okay, you know. It's almost 30 bucks, but now when I do flights in these areas, you know, it has a little character. All right, let's take a look at this. Columbus, that is Rickenbacker, and Bolton is back down here. So let's go ahead and make another turn. KTZR is here. We want to come in on runway 22. So let's go ahead and set this up. 22 is right here. There. We'll do that with the heading bug also. Engines, the numbers all look good. 4,000 feet, very high. Let's trim down. These smokestacks right here, they shouldn't be there. This is 71 south. It goes to Cincinnati. Let me see what's my heading. Yes. That goes to Cincinnati. This was a trash-burning power plant. It was actually called a cash-burning power plant because the city of Columbus spent millions and millions to build this power plant that burns trash to generate power. Well, within 12 months after it was when it was first opened, people started getting sick because of the fumes coming out of that power plant. And not only that, but a lot of the boilers were breaking down because of, you know, the trash that was going in there. I guess they didn't sort it properly, and they were burning stuff like bowling balls and you name it, it was in there. So they shut it down, and a couple of years later, Mayor Coleman blew it up. They demolished it and reclaimed the land for using for whatever else. And the city of Columbus, a couple of years ago, finally finished paying off the bonds that were issued to build the plant. It was a big waste of money. Whoever did that should have been fired or at least thrown in jail or something. And that particular area where that trash burning plant is also houses that neighborhood has a sewage treatment facility. So whenever you drive through there, it stinks to high heaven. And there's 3 correctional facilities in that particular area. You know, you have the buildings with the razor wire fence and whatnot. They're not major prisons, they're just local jails of sorts. So, and there's also there was a dump in that area. Like I said, it was a trash burning power plant. Well, that city dump, they spread it out, and then they put grass and dirt over it and turned it into a golf course. Well, that's long since been abandoned, and now it's just land sitting there. This is 270 on the west side, and usually the approach for runway 22 at Bolton goes right over 270 and Georgesville, which is right about here. Okay, we're at stall speed. What's my altitude? 9. Keep the nose down. Alright, let's get this thing done. I can go ahead and give it full flaps. There we go. Don't know why my flap sound isn't working. I have to check my Beech config file. Not like I can call for customer support. They're not in business anymore, which is a shame. This is an outstanding plane. They also made the Beech Duke turbine, which I did not purchase. If anyone has a license for the Beech Duke turbine that they'd like to sell, please let me know. I'll go ahead and buy it from you. Having said that, I do have a couple of other turbine aircraft, but I'm pretty sure they're not as good as the Beech Duke turbine. Alright. Final checklist. Gump. I got gas on the carriage, gear down, mixture, full forward, props full forward. Let's get her done. Alright, I'm going to have to put her down halfway down the runway. I'm a little bit too high. What else is new? And here's a fence for the perimeter in Holt Road. Alcar. They did not model the localizer antenna, which should be right around here. Whoa, stalling. This should be a go around, but I can salvage this. Only 200 feet up. Go. Most other planes you have to stand on the brakes. This one rolls and slows down pretty good. You don't have to use any brakes or anything. Not sure if the real thing does that, but oh, check this out. Oh wow, look at this. There are a set of lights that guide you in this way, and it goes past what's the road back there? I don't remember the name of the road back there. Johnson Road or Johnson Street or whatever. It actually goes over that road and back into the property on the other side. But that guides the aircraft in coming in from that way. That's runway 4. And that has ILS. We just come in on 22. That does not have an ILS. It does have PAPI lights. Both runways have PAPI lights, or both directions, but only runway 4 has the ILS. Be worth the effort. Alright, those fancy umbrellas, they don't exist. Tower is good. They did a good job with that. And here is where you're supposed to spawn. You don't, but here's where you're supposed to. These are the parking spots. Oh look, they have little people there. We'll go ahead and park it right here. Alright. Almost nail the parking. Alright. Let's go ahead and bring up my flaps. Kill the engines. And that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this video informative. Have a nice day, and I will see you next time.